Unlike Snorlax jumping into a swimming pool, Phantasmal Flames hasn't made a huge splash in Japan. To be fair, it's only been one weekend. But if you look at early tournament results, yeah, the top 10 isn't exactly riddled with Mega Charizard and Mega Gengar. Of course, the meta will evolve over the next several weeks as we get closer to our launch of Phantasmal Flames on November 13th. So stay tuned for lots of updated decks and lists. For now, I'll just highlight how these new cards have impacted the format so far, keeping in mind that things are a little different in Japan. Tournaments are best of one, they don't have access to TCG Live, and everything has to be acquired physically. Let's start off with Mega Charizard X, the Pokemon that will ensure this set leads to several people beating each other off with their feet in a Walmart parking lot. I'm not surprised this hasn't dominated tournaments. Megazard was always going to be a 2026 archetype. When rotation happens in March, taking all the G-Block cards, Gholdengo is gone. So is Gardevoir. And while Raging Bolt itself remains, Sawda's Vitality leaves standard, meaning you have to rely on the less powerful Crispin. Basically, the best attackers without a damage cap are gone, clearing the way for Charizard to dominate. This is the only Mega Charizard list to win a tournament in Japan, and it included just a single copy. I theorized that the best use for the Mega was one of an irregular Charizard deck, since you can accelerate energy into play with Infernal Rain, saving Inferno X for when you really need to take a big KO. And that's exactly what they did. Otherwise, for a more traditional, well, I guess I can't say this is actually traditional. I mean, it's jamming together a regular Zard deck with a Mega Zard deck. But it's essentially the best of both worlds. The 2-prize Zard is great for dealing with the normal threats. Then you have the 3-prize Zard for everybody else. And instead of solely relying on Infernal Rain for energy acceleration, there's a copy of Oricorio EX. While 6 Fire might seem low, Mega Zard does 90 times the amount of energy discarded in play. So you really only need 4 to one-shot everything meaningful. Flashing back to that first list, there were 4 Dawn. She gets a basic Stage 1 and Stage 2, making her perfect for setting up. But without a good Stage 1 in this deck like Dracloak or Kadabra to draw cards, you have to pair it with Noctowl, and that just creates a whole nother set of problems. As for Oricorio, so long as Megazard's in play, you can accelerate all fire energy from hand to a bench fire Pokemon. Again, on the whole, this feels pretty good. It's just that we currently have better beatdown decks in Standard, leaving Charizard to try and find a place next to them. If the name didn't tip you off, Phantasmal Flames is focused on fire and dark types. While Charizard isn't setting the world on Fuecoco, Moltres is. For a single fire, it does 110 damage to EXs. Everyone from Charizard to Dragapult to Cerulege to Typhlosion and even Gholdengo is running a copy of Moltres, making it the most played new Pokemon in the set. It's not hard to see why. Thanks to the introduction of 3-prizers, 2-prize decks that can one-shot them are so in right now. The 2 best of those 2-prize decks are Gholdengo and Raging Bolt, the latter of whom runs a 210 hit point grass type weak to fire. As for Gholdengo, attach a Defiance Band or Brave Bangle to Moltres and you're instantly KOing it. And even if you're not a tool, good old Monkey Math can help bring down the Chi String Man without exposing a multi-prizer. Or target their Genesect, which has just 220 hit points, putting it perfectly in range for the Fire Bird. This is also a great time to point out how a couple older decks looked with Phantasmal Flames. Charizard Pidgeot, which has always overperformed in Japan compared to over here, only adds Moltres along with the 110 hit point Charmeleon in its most successful builds. Dragapult Dusknoir, meanwhile, adds Moltres plus Heat Burner to some extent so you can bump Battle Colosseum. As for Gholdengo, the list that's dominating in our Mega Evolution base set format will continue to dominate in our Phantasmal Flames format. But as I predicted, several of those Fire-type cards are being paired with it. On the attacker side, you of course have Moltres plus the baby Cerulege. Unfortunately, these haven't gone together like peanut butter and toast, finishing no higher than 6th in limited play after one weekend. But it does give Gholdengo access to someone who can KO basic 2-prizers for a single energy or deal with higher HP metal and grass types through weakness. Yeah, you have to discard 4 fire from hand to launch Purgatory Slash, but discarding and recovering energy is kinda Gholdengo's whole thing. And if you're running the fire version of Gholdengo, Fire Breather and Heat Burner are no-brainers. Now, typically when I do these really early previews, there's lots of surprises. With Phantasmal Flames being such a small set, it is what we thought it was. Fire Breather is insane, grabbing 7 fire energy from deck. And if there's a pesky Tool Stadium or special energy on the field, Heat Burner gets rid of it by discarding a fire from hand. I think the problem with Fire Gholdengo is that in order to make room for Cerulege, you have to cut Lunatone Solrock, which is 3 cards every turn plus a backup basic attacker. And to make room for Fire Breather, you have to lower the Cypher Maniac count, thus hurting your ability to go from a 1-card hand to KOing their active by drawing 10 cards to win the game because yeah, you got it like that. Depending on where you look, Mega Sharpedo EX is either as exciting as Shark Week or as disappointing as Shark Week. According to the much smaller tournaments, it's done okay, winning a couple of them. But in the City Leagues, it hasn't placed higher than 7th. Once again, there's no 6-toe surprises here. Mega Sharpedo does 270 damage for 2 darkness if it's damaged. Toxtricity accelerates darkness energy from deck at the cost of placing 2 damage counters. Monkey Dory can heal that damage if you want, and the Petron TX Binding Mochi combo gets Sharknado in the active, now dealing 310. I will admit that perhaps I judge Mega Sharpedo too harshly. Yeah, it's going to lose to Gholdengo simply due to the fact that it gives up 3 prizes, but it can hit the right numbers. Gholdengo's one-shot, same with Gardevoir and Mega Gardevoir. Using Monkey Math, Dragapult's done as well. It's just that the list will struggle against somebody like Mega Diancie, who has effectively 350 hit points and access to Monkey Dory. And while you have Seviper as a great backup attacker dealing 240 damage, it kind of feels like Seviper should be the main attacker. Then at that point, Sharpedo's just a 3-prize liability and Mega Gengar is the better Mega option to activate the snake. And yet Mega Gengar is somehow doing even less than Sharpedo in Japan right now. Yeah, I don't get it either. The ability reduces the prizes they take by 1 if it's done by damage from an EX. Gengar's existence allows Seviper to hit for 240 every turn while potentially giving up 0 prizes. And the Toxtricity Monkey Dory combo keeps everybody powered up and moisturized. So why isn't it working? Well, my guess is that it's going through an identity crisis. Sort of like when my son thought he was a Squirtle and kept spitting water at his classmates, forcing him to be homeschooled for quite a bit. This 11th place list jams everybody into it. There's Mega Sharpedo, Mega Gengar, Seviper, Toxtricity, Monkey Dory, Petron, and Fezandipity. It's too much, especially when your best attacker tops out at 270 before modifiers. An attacker who gives up 3 prizes and has to be damaged to reach that number, I might add. Or there's this 3rd place list which goes in the opposite direction. Gengar is only there for the prize card reduction. Otherwise, it's just a Roaring Moon EX deck without Toxtricity. Considering how powerful its ability is, I have hope that Mega Gengar will turn it around in the coming weeks. And even if Japanese players don't do it, I'll turn into Thanos and do it myself, especially considering that it's out on PTCGL in 3 weeks. If I had to guess, I'd say the list will look close to what I showed off in my Mega Battle Deck video. Roaring Moon and Seviper are your main attackers, Gengar reduces their prizes, and Toxtricity accelerates. Only time will tell, but since I've never been wrong before, you can take this one to the bank. Speaking of never being wrong, Mega Lopunny EX. Sure, you might see how many decks it's been in and think Mega Lopunny is actually a goat, not a bunny. But look closer. It's not the headliner in the majority of them. What Japanese players have done is either include a 1-1 or 2-2 line in things like Charizard, Dragapult, Gholdengo, and even Hopzation, giving them a backup attacker who deals 230 damage for 1 energy. You just have to make sure you moved it from the bench to the active that turn. Plus, Spike Hopper only needs 2 energy to deal with something like Mimikyu or Crustle, making it even more useful. So yes, Mega Lopunny is seen play a lot more than I expected, it's just mostly relegated to backup attacker duty. Otherwise, if you want to make a deck featuring the Pokemon that's actually officially pronounced Lopunny, it's seen success paired with Dusknoir. Obviously, Psyduck is a huge problem, and you have to use 2 Dusknoir to KO 1 Gholdengo while coming up short of a knockout on another Gholdengo unless you have Defiance Band. But I can't deny that it's making waves in Japan. But like dropping a baby Wailmer in a bathtub type waves. Not Wailord in a jacuzzi type waves. You use the Dust Boys to soften people up, then finish them off with Lopunny's 230 damage attack. And there's even Moltres as a single prize backup attacker. Plus, what Mega deck that gives up free prizes would be complete without Acerola's Mischief? The other Mega Lopunny build that's been played quite heavily pairs it with the Dunsparce. The Fat Snake shuffles itself back into the deck, allowing Mega Lopunny to deal that 230 damage easily each turn while also drawing cards. Moltres makes another appearance, and Defiance Band and Brave Band will allow you to deal with Gholdengo. And if you're tired of me talking about Gholdengo, it's not my fault. The damn thing's winning countless tournaments in Japan. Ultimately, I wasn't wrong about Mega Lopunny, I was mildly incorrect. Because it is being played with more than I expected, which is exactly what my dog did to the life-size Lopunny plush I bought last month. One card you've seen numerous times so far in this video is Battle Colosseum. I won't Cerule Edge you any longer. The most hyped new card from Phantasmal Flames is doing exactly what everyone expected. Again, this is going to be a boring set with few surprises. Have the Colosseum in play, now all bench Pokemon are protected from damage counters being placed on them by the opponent's Pokemon's attacks and abilities. Basically, 4 heavily played cards are hurt by the stadium. But like Celebi, the Colosseum has numerous weaknesses. For starters, it only protects bench Pokemon, so Dusknoir and Monkey Dory can still target your active. Or they can bump the Colosseum with another stadium during their turn. Or if they run Heat Burner, which can be found with Arven, they can discard it. Despite all that, Battle Colosseum can help evolution decks from getting screwed over by Monkey Dory, Dragapult, and Dusknoir knocking out their weak basics. And that's more priceless than people DMing you free feat pics on Discord. As for where it fits, the answer is everywhere. I honestly can't give you one specific example. All I can say is that successful decks like Cerulege, Charizard, Gholdengo, Typhlosion, Alakazam, Raging Bolt, Great Tusk, Garchomp, Archaludon, and so much more have featured it. And even if it doesn't work 100% of the time, at least having it in your deck means nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. In that same vein of helping out evolution decks, there's Dawn. To literally no one's surprise, the top Stage 2 decks like Dragapult, Charizard, and Alakazam with secondary card draw are all playing with her. Dawn's in so many lists it's hard to keep track, but the optimal number has yet to be figured out. Dragapult appears to just want 1 alongside Hilda and maybe Brock Scouting. Charizard has been running anywhere from 1 to 4 from what I've seen, though I've seen some really wacky winning lists like this one, so who knows what's going on. And Alakazam seems pretty locked into 2 copies. As for Mega Venusaur with Forest of Vitality and Dawn, which we thought was the ultimate no-brainer, that hasn't happened. Not because Dawn's bad though, because Mega Venusaur is. Since I already did a breakdown of Mega Diancie in the Mega Battle Deck video, I won't spend too much time on it here. I'll just re-mention that yes, this is yet another card that improves Gardevoir EX, who I will happily remind you rotates in March. And with Phantasmal Flames being the last main set ahead of that rotation, this could be the final time I talked about the Pokemon Company buffing the S-tier deck. Unless that likely special set early next year with Mega Dragonite has more Psychic support. Then we're all doomed. Anyway, it's as simple as counting toes in your head to fall asleep. Remove that 1 copy of Mega Gardevoir, add in 1 Mega Diancie, and you're done. Diancie does 240 damage each turn, Gardevoir re-accelerates the lost energy, Munkidori heals it, and Bravery Charm effectively gives Diancie 350 hit points. Another benefit to the Pokemon that's apparently a weird mutation of Carbink is the Metal weakness. Mega Gardevoir was weak to Dark, making those matchups rough. Now your 3-prizer doesn't have to worry about Charizard. And you can use Drifloon for Gholdengo. Yeah, I hate how good this deck is too. Sticking with the Mega Diancie theme, if you watch my Battle Deck video, you know that both the Mega and Wondrous patch are out 3 weeks ahead of Phantasmal Flames. Because we still have Gardevoir and Xatu in Standard, the Psychic patch isn't widespread like my legs on a crowded subway. While a few decks like Dragapult, Dusknoir, Team Rocket's Mewtwo, and Slowking have used Wondrous patch with varying levels of success, the biggest beneficiary by far is Alakazam. Now you can remove Xatu from the list in my gameplay video, add in 2 patches, and laugh as you draw a million cards with Enriching Energy, shuffling it back into your deck every turn with the Dunsparce. I was impressed by Alakazam when I played it a few days ago. I'm even more excited to revisit it in a few weeks with Wondrous patch. There's unfortunately a lot of cards from Phantasmal Flames that haven't really done anything yet. Because Mega Charizard has failed to take off, Reshiram isn't seeing any play. 4 energy for 240 is a lot, and you can really only achieve that with Oricorio EX. Or I guess the Ho-Oh Armarouge deck, though Reshiram isn't a perfect fit there. And because Megazard is really only being paired with the regular Zard, Oricorio is also seeing a lack of usage early on. And I know you've probably blocked it out of your mind like a bad dream where everyone has hands for feet, but Mega Heracross EX is in the set. Naturally, no one's used it, which is the same number of people who've done anything with Mismagius EX, Vertigo Valley, and Ludicolo. Genesect's also been disappointing, barely appearing in any Mega Venusaur decks. Sticking with EXs, Rotom and Empoleon only have 3 small tournament wins between them. Rotom obviously pairs with the Rotom Gadget Show deck, but when they can target your weak 2-prizer all day, things are tough. And while Empoleon has a better defense than the Cincinnati Bengals, reducing the damage it takes by up to 120 with its attack, Full Metal Lab, and Iron Defender, it's not enough. Piplup and Primplup are water types, you have to run Metang for energy acceleration, and at the end of the day, you're still only dealing 210 damage for 3 energy on a stage 2. What we learned from the first weekend of Phantasmal Flames in Japan is that not a whole lot changed with the new cards. The best decks are still the best decks, and unlike a butt, no one's cracked the top 10. Some cards like Moltres and Mega Lopunny have overperformed though, with Battle Colosseum seeing a lot of play as expected. Heat Burner meanwhile is nice to have, especially for someone like Dragapult who needs to bump a Battle Colosseum. But then you have cards like Toxtricity and Seviper and Grimsley's Move and Mega Gengar who haven't really done anything, with the Jumbo Ice Cream Cone so far only helping wall decks like Farigiraf. As a reminder, this was a very, very early look at how Phantasmal Flames will impact the meta. Things will evolve over the next few weeks as they always do, so make sure you're subscribed for my usual pre-launch deck profiles as we trapinch closer to November 13th. And don't forget that the Mega Gengar and Mega Diancie decks are out on October 23rd, giving us 3 weeks early access to around 15 new cards.